On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup, we got Broncos news all the way around. Off the field issues, got Patrick Surtain getting a little bit of a raise. Also, week 1 of OTAs. We're here to provide you the news. Also, rankings. We got some rankings for everybody tonight. All that and much more on the Denver Bronco Roundup, and it starts right now. Well, hello, Broncos country. It's another great episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup. I'm your host, Trevor Salzman. I have my co-host next to me, the one and only, the coffee guy, Mr. Patrick Wiltsie, joining me on the screen as well. I have my trusted judge, Jody Moncrief as well, joining me tonight. But welcome everybody to the show tonight. Mr. Patrick Wiltsie, how are you doing, my friend? And first time on Denver Bronco Roundup with you. How's everything going, my friend, out there in the coffee world?
Coffee world's going good. Things are, busy, keeping things pumping, trying to keep everybody caffeinated, make sure there's not too much blood in their caffeine systems. We'll be all right.
Absolutely got to keep everybody caffeinated. Caffeinated, I should say, caffeinated. I have had too much coffee today, Patrick. I apologize. I'm drinking some right now. I really gotta have the coffee to get me throughout the shows and come up with some of these topics along with these fellows. So, but not lack thereof coffee. Mr. Jody the Judge Moncrief, Mr. Iced Tea guy, possibly. How you doing tonight, Mr. Jody Moncrief? Great to see you, my friend.
Doing good. Finally got to see some guys on the field. Excited for that. I think I seen today 100 days till Denver's first game. So it's getting closer. So I'm excited and ready for football to start.
Absolutely. And the Broncos fans got their first look at Jalen Waddle. Not Bronco fans, I should say, media members. Bronco fans, media members kind of coincide together sometimes. They got their first chance to see Jalen Waddle out there on the field as well. Seen some sights of Bo Nix, but not overly too much, which is not a surprise, I should say. But not a surprise. Mr. Glenn Ash coming in here said, "Good afternoon, my Usos, Trevor, Patrick, Jody, Juicers, and Posse. Hope you all are having a great weekend. Hope you're having a great weekend as well, Glenn." My co-host on the Juice Football Talk Show. By the way, you can catch that show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time out there on the East Coast for all of our East Coast fans. But Glenn, great to see you tonight, my friend, and can't wait to see you back on the Juice. We have a lot of great debates, me and Glenn. Keeps me on my toes, that's for sure. But Broncos, at this point in time in the season, they're kind of keeping us, on our toes the last 2 weeks, week and a half, I should say. We got some Patrick Surtain news. Jody, I'm going to hit you with this. Broncos are giving star cornerback Patrick Surtain a $5 million raise this year via contract adjustment. When you've seen this, my friend, your thoughts right now on Patrick Surtain? Is this Broncos ownership group being very generous, it seems like, with Patrick Surtain? We don't really see this a ton, but please break this down, my friend. Your thoughts on this $5 million contract adjustment for Patrick Surtain getting a little bit of a raise?
I think it's more just getting ahead of what was coming down the line. I think he was the highest paid cornerback for like a day. And then there were like 3-4 other cornerbacks that jumped him right away. And they knew he's the best corner in football. He was Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. So before he made a deal about this, I think they just got ahead of it. I don't think that personally, I don't know that Pastor 10 would have just the way he did some things. He did a true contract extension, let his rookie deal play out, and then the extension kick in, not it kick in from the day he signed it. So, he's always been team team friendly in what he does here. He's made no beef or no drama, nothing. So I think they were just get ahead of it. And this is, like we've talked in the past, this is part of having not only rich owners but cash rich owners that can do something like this. I like the move, and it probably will turn out to be $10 million if he's all pro or pro bowler. I mean, he should hit one, if not both of those this year again. So it's a nice little $10 raise for, saying thank you. You're the best cornerback in football. And, like I just mentioned, the true extension, I mean, that helped getting other players signed at the time with that not kicking in for a couple more years. So, I mean, it's went both ways. So I love the move, and I expect Pat Surtain to be a Bronco for life.
Yeah, now this makes Pastor Surtain, for all those wondering, he's the 6th highest paid cornerback in football right now. Trent McDuffie just got that massive extension with the Rams. He is now the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, cornerback in the NFL. Patrick, your thoughts on Pastor Surtain getting a little bit of a raise bump? Again, we don't see it very often, but of course, one of the best cornerbacks in the game. Seems like Broncos ownership is really trying to make amends with Pastor Surtain and really show, hey, you're the number one corner in football. We want to pay you like it.
Yeah, I like the way they did it. I like that it wasn't, boom, in your face about it. Just kind of, I mean, we knew about it because obviously we pay attention and read up on these things, but I think it was well deserved. I mean, they definitely, how else do you make somebody that instead of reworking a contract every year? If it's really about like Jody said, the cash rich owners, it's a good perk.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Patrick Surtain being the 6th highest paid cornerback in football, it's only going to go down, by the way, because Devon Witherspoon, the cornerback in Seattle, is about to get a big bag. They're going to pay him here pretty soon. Not exactly sure, maybe possibly before the season we could see that, but for sure, I think Broncos ownership, want to appreciate Patrick Surtain, take care of their own, but it's also maybe to kind of try to avoid a possible, not a contract holdout, because again, I agree with Jody with Patrick Surtain, like. I don't know that he would do that per se. He is a team guy, and he's made plenty of money already throughout his career. But it's like you got to show appreciation for guys like Patrick Surtain and really on and off the field, total pro, all pro cornerback. And I think this is what you're seeing from Broncos ownership, hopefully trying to avoid any sort of conflict down the line when it comes to his contract. Got Dan Wilkett coming in here, says, good evening, team. Hope everyone is doing and feeling good. DBR for life. The posse is on Broadway. Good evening, Dan. Great to see you as well. Phil McLaughlin coming in here says, good evening, Rocket Man, Judge, and Mr. Coffee. So if Cooper winds up missing some games due to his off-the-field problems, do we bring in Von Miller? Let's hit this Johnathan Cooper news right now. This kind of brings us into our next topic. Johnathan Cooper having some other things like off-the-field issues. I don't want to get to it too much because we got to find out more news, but Johnathan Cooper obviously arrested, Friday, for an argument with his ex-girlfriend. We'll see how that turns out as well. But girlfriend, nonetheless. Jody, your kind of thoughts on Johnathan Cooper? Do you think that this is going to be really going to test the Broncos' depth at edge rusher? I mean, we've talked about Jonah Ellis, we've talked about Q Robinson in the past. Do you think this is going to test the Broncos' waters at all when it comes to edge rusher? And do you think Johnathan Cooper will miss any games because of this?
Sorry, no to both answers, and I'm just going to keep this short because we have no facts. We know nothing. I will say she was also arrested for the same charges as he was, so let's not just jump that it was one-sided and that type of thing. So until that plays out in the court or whatever happens, I'm not going to draw an opinion either way because we just don't know. I will say from some of the stuff that has come out both sides, I would, if I was going to lean one way, that this doesn't make it very far, just some of the stuff I've heard, but you never know. So until more facts come out, I'm going to steer clear of it. And then the Tep's depth, I'm not worried there. I mean, this sounds like Jonah Ellis from all reports. He may get some packages inside, but they're keeping him outside. That's what it sounds like. I mean, you're 5 deep there already with Cooper, 4 if not. You've got depth there, so it's probably the deepest position on this team. With if someone goes down, you can trust Jonah Ellis. You can probably trust Q Robinson at this point to step in and start. So I'm not worried there.
Yeah, when it comes to Johnathan Cooper, I mean, of course, it was domestic violence. We don't know how that's going to turn out, and that's the charges against him right now. I agree with you, Jody. I think needed to see this thing play out. Wouldn't rule out a suspension. I would say maybe a couple games, but again, where the Broncos are at edge rusher. And we'll see if they add anybody. I don't think they're going to. Spoiler alert, but they've got some depth behind Cooper with Q Robinson. They've got Jonah Ellis. Hey, these guys need to see the field at some point in time. Johnathan Cooper isn't going to be around forever. You paid Nick Benito. That's your Batman as far as your edge rusher room. Johnathan Cooper is more your Robin. And Johnathan Cooper last year struggled a couple times, during the season. So like Q Robinson, Jonah Ellis, these are high draft picks. I believe day 2 draft picks from both guys. I mean, you have invested in some depth in this edge rush room. So keep that in mind with the Broncos going forward. Like, hey, you got one man down, but this next man up for this Broncos edge rush room. Patrick, your thoughts on this whole Johnathan Cooper situation as well?
Yeah, I'm kind of like Jody. I don't want to say too much because I mean, you hear that he got arrested, then you hear she did, then you hear nothing, and it's just. I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, it makes you wonder. I mean, somebody whispers domestic violence and it seems like they get suspended for 4 games or something. It's kind of like the suspensions from back in the, a few years ago, before things started becoming legal. I mean, it's you can't say too much. I mean, I would love for them to bring in help. That's more nostalgic, and because I have a closet full of jerseys with certain numbers on them. So, I mean, that's just me. But, yeah, overall, I don't think anything's going to come of it. I honestly think it'll kind of blow over if you can believe any of what's been said so far.
And that's going to lead us into Mr. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jody.
I wanted to add 2 things.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of things that, he only had 5.5 sack or half a sack the last 7 games of the season. This should be an easy decision. Move on. That's a bad take in my opinion. I don't like that take at all. And then the guy everyone wants to come here, number 58. I mean, everyone can figure out who that is. I would love him here as nostalgic purposes too. I think he would take a team-friendly deal the way he's been begging to come here. I guess I have 2 things. What would hold me back if nothing comes of Cooper is, does he hold back a Q Robinson or somebody playing time? And I want to see what he can do. And then, I mean, you're already 5 deep there. That makes you 6. And does he won't play special teams. So that's an important part of this. That's where your depth pieces play special teams, and he won't be one. So I think that hurts him as well.
I do want to mention this really quickly. Like the Broncos, their ability to release Johnathan Cooper, it's not going to happen unless there's something that happens within the NFL, like the NFL steps in, and this is a worse situation than what we know. And again, we've got to let this whole Johnathan Cooper situation pan out. But the Broncos just converted his $10 million base salary into signing bonuses. So being able to move off of Johnathan Cooper, it's not happening this season, at least anyway. He's going to be a Denver Bronco going forward. We'll see what happens with the whole suspension thing, but he's not going anywhere right now. We're doing a player's contract. It makes it a lot harder for them to move off of him. And with where the Broncos are at from a salary cap perspective, it's just not going to happen. But Patrick, I do want your thoughts on this with Phil McLaughlin's question. And again, I'll read it
Plus,
again.
didn't he just sign like a 4-year, $60 million deal? So, I mean, that on top of it, they just signed him. So, yeah. like you said, unless something major comes out of this or whatever, he's going nowhere.
Yeah, no, and that obviously that contract restructuring that contract freed up $8 million for the Broncos this year in cap space. So yeah, he's not going anywhere. That's just part of the deal. But Patrick, I do want to get your thoughts on real quickly on Phil McLaughlin here. Says, good evening, Rocket Man, Judge, and Mr. Coffee. So if Cooper winds up missing some games, as we just touched upon, do you want to see the Broncos bring back Von Miller? I think we know your answer, but I want you to explain it a little bit more for everybody out there.
I mean, yes, personally, I would love to see it, but I don't think they would if he just misses some games. If he were to miss like the entire year, or God forbid, or whoever forbids, somebody gets injured, then yes, I could see them looking at Vaughn or like we've discussed between the three of us here and there, Wagner or somebody else, coming in. But I just don't. I'd love to see it. Like I said, personal wise, I mean, I've got a closet full of jerseys on the other side of me over here, that all but one of them have Vaughn on it. So I mean, personally, yes, but I don't think it'd be good for the team money wise, unless Jody's right that he does take a team friendly thing. I mean, I've read a couple things, and then I think you sent me the other day. If he's wanting as much as you were saying, that there's just no way you can do something like that. I mean, that's more than a couple of the guys that are already on the roster. Why would we do that? So
yeah, and that's the thing. Von Miller on a league minimum contract, different situation. Like, I mean, if you're the Broncos, you're not tied down to him for a year. There's no guarantee he's going to make the 53-man roster. It's going to be a battle, especially in that edge rusher room. Like we said, Q Robinson, Jonah Ellis, DeAndre Tillman as well. Add him into that room. It's going to be hard for Von Miller to make this team. And also he doesn't play special teams, and he's not going to. So I just don't see the room for Von Miller right now, especially not able to move off Johnathan Cooper. I know from a fan's perspective, like, it'd be great to see. I'll just say this right now. Von Miller returning to Denver probably will happen on a one-day contract. He retires a Bronco and he goes off into the Hall of Fame, more than likely. But again, for Von Miller's sake, I hope he finds a home elsewhere, because I think he can still play a pivotal role for an organization, for a franchise. He's not the same Von Miller he once was. Plus, again, it's just that time in Denver, it's not lining up with where the Broncos are at from a roster construction standpoint. Obviously, edge rusher being one of their deeper rooms on the defense side of the ball, it just doesn't make a lot of sense right now. So I think Von Miller, from what I heard, it's around $7-8 million he's wanting a year. So I just don't think the Broncos, it just doesn't make sense. The fit's not there from either side. We got Rodney Garcia.
Let me throw this out too real quick.
Yeah.
Remember when we brought in Jerry Rice whenever, like, at the end of his career?
Yeah.
I mean, Shanahan went to him and told him, he said, "You're going to be our 4th, 5th wide receiver. Is that what you really want? Do you want to just be standing on the sidelines here?" And, kind of out of respect, told him that's the same thing that I can see here too, is that where he may be inactive on game day or something when it comes down to it, because I need this guy to dress because he plays special teams and Vaughn doesn't. And that's another reason I just don't think Sean Payton even wants to go down that road. Why are you inactivated? He may be Denver's best defensive player of all time, and he can't even dress right now for whatever reasons. And I just don't think that they even want to go down that kind of road.
Yeah, and I think it's just that he's a name. He's a name in Broncos history, and he's going to live on forever. But again, we have to stay current with his current Broncos roster and where they're going at. Q Robinson adds a lot more on special teams. Jonah Ellis, his ability to move inside and out, a lot of flexibility there. DeAndre Tillman, I even think that you can make the argument between him and Von Miller. They may still prefer Tillman. I mean, because Von, it brings a lot of leadership capabilities, from a team perspective, but also, I'm not going to lie, there's a little diva in there in Von Miller. I'm not going to lie, there's a little bit of diva in there. And so, like, I just don't know if Sean Payton, that would mix very well with Sean Payton as well. I do want to get to Rodney Garcia.
Q Robinson, well. And Q Robinson is the guy, I think, that is what's stopping a lot of this. What he did down the season at the end of the season, I think Denver, and that's why all the Jonah Ellis stuff floating inside, because Q Robinson is going to see the field a lot this year, in my opinion.
Well, they ended up taking Q Robinson in the 4th round. I mean, there's upside with that guy. I remember when he was drafted. He was one of my favorite picks. The Broncos ended up taking, last offseason. Rodney Garcia comes in here, says, regardless of the situation, Cooper knows better. The Broncos ownership has high standards and stuff is intolerant. I'm not a big fan of Cooper. 100%, Rodney. And again, we got to see, how everything pans out and get more facts on the situation. And then that's what the Broncos are going to do too. They're monitoring the situation. It's not good either way from the girlfriend standpoint to Johnathan Cooper. It seems like it's a more two-sided thing. But from a contract standpoint, they're just not going to be able to do so. They're not going to be able to move off of Cooper unless the NFL, suspends him for a whole year, and there are going to be some different rules that will come into play. Unless the NFL steps in, they're probably not going to move off of Johnathan Cooper. Just kind of keeping it realistic here. And again, let's see this thing pan out before we completely put all the blame on Johnathan Cooper. Let's see, how everything kind of pans out as well. Michael Ronquillo says, "Good evening, Trevor, Jody, Patrick, and go Bo Broncos." Patrick. Michael with 100 stars coming in. Michael, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Ronnie also coming in says, honestly, I'd move on from Cooper. Q needs to add more size. Yes, but he's freakishly athletic, Ronnie. That's the thing. Is Q Robinson's got a lot of athletic ability, and you got to have that to play special teams as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Moving on, fellas, we got week 1 of OTAs. Of course, media is not overly allowed to film a ton. We've seen a little bit from this Broncos group. We've heard some, a little bit of things. I'm from one that I'm a little skeptical of what I hear during OTAs. Like, for instance, I've heard some other news that I'm like, I'll share here. I want to get the guys' thoughts. But Patrick, your thoughts on the first week of OTAs? What are some things you're hearing? What are some things you're liking? Maybe some things you're not liking from OTAs? Your thoughts, my friend. Really want to hear what your opinions on week 1 of OTAs and what from some of the things that what you're hearing.
I mean, I'm much the same school. I mean, it's hard to kind of put any faith behind anything that happens until, like, I'd say probably about the end of the first week of training camp, But I mean, OTAs are definitely your first glimpse of like, ooh, here we go. What could be possible, but nobody's going full speed. Nobody's. They're not going to hit that guy and take him out. I mean, that's their own man. They're not going to completely hit him. I mean, they'll bunch him and push him, but I mean, the only thing good stuff I'm hearing is like, I mean, looks like Ingram's just storming it, or they're allowing him to storm it, whatever it happens to be. I mean, I don't know. You hear linemen are fighting, you hear all sorts of things, but it's kind of hard to, like you said, without a lot of media coverage, it's really hard to. You kind of pick and choose what you like to see, and that's kind of what you go with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to make sure. For me, it's in what they do in pads, and coaches will tell you the same thing. Like, you talk to coaches on the side or whatever, and they're not going to come out to the media and say this, but it's different. I mean, it's different when you see these guys in pads and when you don't. You can kind of get two different outcomes. So you have to be careful on what you're really analyzing without pads on, and players just running out in shorts and shirts. I mean, it's a different story. Jody, some of your thoughts on week 1 of OTAs?
Just some stuff I heard. It sounds like Justin Cernati's bulked up. It looks like from all reports he's much bigger. So he took the weight room serious this offseason, knowing that this might be his only one chance to prove that he can be a starter. Sounds like Jalen Waddle is as advertised. Got elite speed, runs great routes in and out, gets out of breaks quick. But from all reports, it sounds like he's small. I mean, we knew he was small. I mean, he's listed at 5'10", 185. Sounds like he might be a little smaller than that. That's what some people are saying. Mm-hmm. But either way, doesn't really matter to me. I mean, he put up big numbers in Miami with a below average quarterback. So I'm happy with reports on him. And then, like Patrick said, it sounds like they fed the ball a lot in 7-on-7s to Evan Ingram. If that might be one of a handful of wrinkles that Davis Webb is going to incorporate, getting the ball and getting these tight ends involved. Because if you go back and watch last year, I don't think it was a tight ends just aren't getting open and stuff. But I think Bo was, and I think this was a lot of Peyton. It was one read and run, where now he might be sitting in the pocket and waiting for some of these deeper shots. I've said for a while, I think you're going to see a lot of Bo from the first half of his rookie year, a lot of deep shots, a lot more throwing the ball over the middle, down the field. You've got the weapons now to do it. So those would be the the big takeaways I've heard so far. And Coleman, I guess Coleman is as advertised. He's a bowling ball out there, and from a lot of reports, it's not going to be long before he's RB2.
Yeah, heard a lot of positive thoughts on Jalen Waddle. I again haven't heard a ton. A lot of what the Broncos are doing right now, they're in OTA, especially the Sean Payton era in Denver. It's a lot of in-house stuff. You really don't hear a whole lot. Red Murdoch, I've heard his name pop up quite a bit. Again, I'm skeptical because I need to see it in pads. Let
me interrupt real quick on Waddle. Bo Nix did not throw it all in camp, so keep that in mind. It was Stidham and Ellis, so just keep that in mind. That Bo Nix did not throw it all in any 7-on-7s or during any live OTA. So,
yeah, I mean, he was just. We're not going to see Bo for a little while now, which is fine. I mean, he doesn't need to be. He needs to be there in participation in the meetings and stuff, but on the field stuff can wait a little bit. And I like the Broncos' approach to kind of waiting on him a little bit, not forcing it too fast with Bo Nix. But on the quarterback front, I did hear this. Sam Ehlinger and Jared Stidham, a little bit of quarterback competition there. I mentioned that, what was it, last year? I believe late last year, early on in this offseason, and said there's some quarterback competition there. This isn't just a guarantee that Jared Stidham is going to be quarterback too. Sam Ehlinger is going to push him for that job. Why do you think Sam Ehlinger ended up sticking around in Denver last year when he had other offers from other teams? He had other offers from other teams to be in their quarterback room. He ended up sticking around in Denver. There's a reason for it. I'm just saying, without revealing too much, there's a little bit of a reason for that. I think there's a real quarterback competition to back up Bo Nix. Sam Ehlinger, from what I've heard, again, shorts and T-shirts, take it with a grain of salt. Let's see it in pads. Let's see it in the preseason. Looked pretty good. I mean, it looked like he's a little bit better than Jared Stidham during week 1 of OTA. So just keep that in mind going forward. I think there's some quarterback 2 competition, real competition there to back up Bo Nix. But yeah, I think everything from Jalen Waddle heard really well, really good things with him, how he's handling the install and Sean Payton's system. And so it sounds like they have a real plan to use Jalen Waddle, and I expect Jalen Waddle to have a big season here in Denver. Do want to get to a couple comments. Ronnie says, I sure did enjoy Tillman picking off Prescott last season and did an awesome return. Glenn says, on the Johnathan Cooper situation, I do want to touch on this really quick as well because I do have some breaking news. But Glenn says, I think it's quite easy to judge from the outside. It takes 2 to tango. Emotion situation can have humans make mistakes. It's a damn phone. PC world will make a lot more out of it than needed. And Michael says, we have to wait until the facts come out before doing anything with Johnathan Cooper. I do want to mention this. Johnathan Cooper did just post on IG. He says in the statement, I apologize to my family, to my friends, and my community, and so many others. Johnathan Cooper statement on Instagram. Wanted to make sure to get that out there here in this show. And then Michael says, Red Murdoch, I think he's talking about OTAs. Ronnie coming in and says, if Arch is there for the Broncos next year, would you take him?
I'll answer that. Hell no. No. I don't even think Arch is going to be the best quarterback in next year's draft or this upcoming draft. What has Arch done for you to be high on Arch other than his last name is Manning?
Yeah, very true.
I mean, that's unfair to Arch, but I mean, he was given unfair expectations and everything because of his last name, but he has lived up to none of that. So people are only saying that because of the last name right now.
Yeah. Now, I didn't look. Has he been playing? Is he starting or is he just?
He started. Yeah, he started last year and he'll start this year. But I always go back for 2 years. He couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if he was this generational next Peyton Manning type quarterback, whatever, why couldn't you beat out Quinn Ewers for 2 years?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even if Arch Manning does have a really good season, Broncos aren't looking for a quarterback. If anything,
Denver's not drafting high. Denver will not be drafting in the top of the first round.
Exactly. And they're not going to take a quarterback. I mean, no, Bo Nix is Sean's guy, and he's Sean's guy long term. I fully expect that. Even if Bo has a little bit of a down year, I still expect Denver to fully commit to Bo Nix long term. Bo Nix isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And Arch Manning, I agree with Jody. I need to see it for a full season at Texas before I'm a big believer in that, because again, I think the last name definitely helps his situation out a little bit. Glenn says the backups will throw under Bo's legs. We'll wait until Bo gets his legs underneath him. Plenty of time to integrate him. The talk is Ellinger and City are in just a big battle for the 2 spot. Absolutely. I think Glenn and I are barking up the same tree.
And Sean Payton did say that you will see more from Bo in mandatory OTAs, the 18th, 16th to the 18th in just a couple weeks. So he's close, and he did say that he was throwing before practices and stuff. That was just no one could see it because media wasn't allowed there. So he's close. There's just no need to rush it. And I will say one thing. Go watch some of the tapes of Patrick Mahomes out there. I mean, he's on the field, but he's limping all over when he tries to roll out and stuff. He hops on one leg, and they might be rushing him a little too quick. If you go watch some of his stuff, I mean, he's still limping out there, and the NFL may have put undue pressure on, the Chiefs to get him ready for Week 1. So, there's no need for Denver to. You don't win a Super Bowl in voluntary OTAs, so
yeah, and I agree with that. I will say the NFL, I think, had some inside information before they even made the schedule. Week 1, Patrick Mahomes is starting. I'm sorry, the NFL's not putting that on prime time for Justin Fields and Bo Nix to go at it. It's going to be.
I agree with that, but if you watch him right now, you can't say with 100% certainty, yeah, he's going to be ready in 2 months or whatever. I mean, he was limping, and there was just, he's out there. So, he's progressing, but he's nowhere close. If they were playing a game right now, he's nowhere close.
Yeah. I thank the Lord. You have like 2 months to go before you have to see the field. And he's.
I think this is this is off topic, but I think this is a blessing for Denver to get him Week 1 in Kansas City. So,
yeah, definitely. That Chiefs team, real quickly, and I'll get to Patrick here in a second, but that Chiefs team is not going to be as good as people think anyway. I think they're going to have a down season this year. Phil coming in says, is Bo having a camp with his wide receivers this year? I haven't heard anything. Usually he does, but again, with that ankle injury, I think he's taking a little bit more cautious approach. I'm sure he's gotten together with the guys and get that chemistry going along with Jalen Waddle. Anytime you bring in somebody new, and it's just every quarterback should do this, get together with his wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, all of his playmakers, get on the same page together and hang out. Team chemistry. You got to do it. Biggie Bronco, we're going to hit our halftime break here pretty soon, guys. Biggie Bronco says, how you doing tonight? Biggie, want to shout out Biggie Bronco. Our prayers are up for you, Biggie. Hopefully everything's looking up for you, my friend. We fully support you here at Rocky Mountain Sports Network. And just know that, again, you're in our heart and our prayers going forward. It's great to see you, my friend, tonight. And hope you are enjoying the show. I think we are going to hit our halftime break. So let's get to our amazing sponsor tonight, Miss Pearl, Morgan Trinkets. Please enjoy this short clip from Morgan Trinkets right now. That was our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Go check out Miss Pearl over there at Morgan Trinkets. She has a lot of amazing stuff. Miss Pearl, you're amazing. Just know we appreciate you. And I know you're watching out there with all of us, whether you're watching live or even after the show. Just know we appreciate you and your generosity, being an amazing sponsor. Go check out Morgan Trinkets and Miss Pearl. Don't have updated shows for Miss Pearl, but once we do, we will for sure announce them out there for everybody. But please go support Miss Pearl and Morgan Trinkets. All right, guys, let's get into our second half of the show, but let me get to a couple comments first. And then I know this is a topic that you, Jody and Patrick, were going to talk about last week, so I'm going to let you guys kind of lead it. But we got Mr. Michael Ronquillo says, Bo Nix is the Broncos franchise quarterback, 100% Michael. No doubt about it. Rodney says, I think Mahomes will be ready week 1. Absolutely, Rodney, because they're not going to make that. I know how the NFL operates. They're not going to make that a primetime game if Mahomes isn't playing, in my opinion. Biggie says, I would be shocked if Mahomes is back before week 6. Biggie, I think Mahomes is going to be back. I will say that. Glenn says, Bo's injury is run off the mill, delayed by screws, etc., being taken out. It's so much better to have them take now than get to 10 weeks and then need removing. Waddle mentioned catching up with Bo. Yeah, I'm sure they've caught up plenty of times off the field, and they should. Prayers for Biggie. Of course, Michael, thank you very much. Kenny says, hello, fellas. Happy Saturday to everybody. Our fourth, fifth, sixth horseman, something like that. We have Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick coming in here, joining us tonight. Kenny, my co-host on the Juice Football Talk Show. Appreciate you joining in, my friend, and thank you very much. All right, boys. Let's get into this topic. These group rankings, Jody. Where do you want to start it off, my friend? And just explain to everybody out there in the audience what exactly the group rankings is kind of detail of what we're going to be covering with this topic, because again, it's you and Patrick's topic, and I remember Keith's topic as well. But I want to let you guys lead it here in tonight's show. So please, my friend, detail it for our audience out there.
Just ranking where we have. We're going to do 4 position groups tonight: wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, and linebackers, and where we kind of rank them. Top 10. 11. I think 11 to 21. Bottom third, and then last in the NFL. Rank them in what everyone's opinion is on them, and then kind of just give an overall, I guess, kind of who we think might make the 53 and kind of in what order.
Okay. Where would you like to start first, my friend?
Well, we can just go down like you have them. We can start with wide receivers.
Okay. Put us to the side of the screen here.
And while he does that, I would say this might be one of Denver's deepest positions on this team, especially with the addition of Waddle. I mean, Troy Franklin was your number 2 wide receiver last year, and he may well be 4 or 5 this year, depending on what Pat Bryant and Marvin Mims do. So, yeah. I mean, it's deep. I'm going to say this is a top 10 unit. I think the addition of Waddle is going to be huge for this room. I think that finally gives you a speedster that also is crisp and can run elite routes. He can play inside. He can play outside Waddle. We all know what Cortland Sutton is. He's that big body wide receiver. I think Waddle will open up a lot of stuff for Sutton. And then 3, 4, 5 is going to be interesting to watch. Franklin, Bryant, Mims. Who comes out of that group to get the next amount of touches there? I think that's going to be fascinating. I've said for a while, I think they would like if Pat Bryant can take that next step where maybe you can move on from Sutton next year only because of money, and him move into a number 2 role. But I think that is probably one of the most intriguing battles in training camp. Who wins this number 3 battle and how they divvy up that playing time. And then I'll throw a wild card out there. It sounds like he's bulked up, so I don't know if he's going to try to play tight end or what, but he's a Sean Payton guy, little Jordan Humphreys. And you got to throw him in there just because, I mean, he really should have had 2 touchdowns in the Buffalo game. They were looking for him, and they were drawing up plays for him. I mean, he dropped 1 on the first series and then caught 1 on the last series before the first half. So whatever we think of him, he's a Sean Payton guy. And when it comes down to it, I mean, he does most of the time produce. So he's a wild card for me. Do they keep 6? Does he play tight end? What do they do with him? But that's where I have him. I have top 10 because I just think Waddle takes this group to the next level, and I expect big things from this wide receiver core this year.
Patrick, I want to get your thoughts on this wide receiver room. Where do you have him? You have him top 10 like Jody? Do you have him outside the top 10? Where do you have him?
Personally, I had him just outside until they got Waddle. And then once they got Waddle, I think, like Jody said, that definitely propels them right into the middle of everything. I mean, who do you guard? You got, like he said, you got Sutton, you got Waddle on the other side. You throw Franklin on and then Mims on a 4 wide receiver set. I mean, who do you pick on? You're going to get eaten somewhere. So I mean, yeah, now I'd have him top 10. But at first, when Keith and I were going over some of these things and looking at, I knew about Waddle, but I hadn't done a lot of research on him because, being for another team. So I would definitely change. I definitely put him top 10. Now.
I think for me as well, I would say top 10. I would say probably towards the bottom of this top 10 list, but I would say I think this is a top 10 unit. I think Jalen Waddle, the acquisition, is the biggest, one of the more important acquisitions Sean Payton's made since he's been here in Denver. But I think Waddle can be a 1A, 1B with Sutton. I really think any given game it could be a different guy leading this team in receptions and catches and stuff like that, touchdowns. But those two I think will play off each other really well. Waddle was definitely more of a Bo Nix guy, I think, than Sutton. Sutton's that deep ball threat for Bo, and that's one of Bo Nix's favorite targets. Troy Franklin, again, him and Bo Nix and Troy Franklin, that connection between those two is something that we have to keep an eye on as well. Troy Franklin, I believe, was second on this team in targets this year, and had a big bounce back, a big season in year 2 for Troy Franklin from a guy that in year 1 who didn't see the field week 1 his rookie season. So, I think this is a wide receiver. It's got a lot of depth as well. This wide receiver room, we've got Waddle, you got Sutton, Franklin, Pat Bryant, like Marvin Mims. We haven't even mentioned Marvin Mims' name much in here. This is definitely a top 10 unit, though, from a depth perspective. If you have a guy go down, somebody can step up and play an important role. And I think this is a group in Denver where you not only have 1A, 1B in Waddle and Sutton, but you actually have some depth. Troy Franklin, I don't think we've seen the best of Troy Franklin yet. Frankly, his upside, I'll continue to say it. Now I would say I think Troy Franklin still has the highest upside in this wide receiver room, and that's, some people say you're crazy for saying that. Why? This is a guy that I think if he can just catch the dang football and work on that throughout the offseason, he shows that he has the speed and the explosiveness downfield. He has that connection already with Bo Nix. He's only in year 2. We haven't yet to see, I think, the best Troy Franklin. I think he's got a ton of upside still up in his game, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. And you got a different mix of wide receivers. Pat Bryant, he's more of a blocking caliber wide receiver. Little Jordan Humphrey as well. These guys know how to use their bodies. You got a mix of big body wide receivers and also there's regular size wide receivers and even small wide receivers, Marvin Mims. So, and the speed. So this wide receiver room just got a lot of different mixtures of different things. I definitely think this is a top 10 unit. I think this is a unit that can really help Bo Nix progress even more so. We have Glenn coming in here. He says wide receiver, our wide out room is definitely top 5 with the depth we have. Waddle is going to really open the offense up. Sutton, Bryant, Mims, and Franklin will thrive. I think 3 will be shared. You got Phil coming in. Says wide receiver top 10. Sutton, Waddle, Bryant, Mims, Franklin. Michael says number 10. I'm right there with you, Michael. Right around that 10 range. Biggie says top 5. Could definitely make that case. Need to see, again, big jumps from Franklin and guys like that. And Biggie says if Troy Franklin makes that jump that he made from his rookie year into year 2, if he makes that the same amount of jump, top 5, yep, I 100% Biggie right there with you. Glenn says genuinely Bryant, Franklin, Mims have so much development to unlock. Waddle is going to really help as his skill set complements Sutton. So exciting. 100%. All right, guys. Anything
I
else?
want to throw out one other thing. I don't think Denver should be putting Marvin Mims or Franklin. It's probably those two if they do any of them on the trade block. I'm not in favor of that. The only way that I would be in favor, and this goes pretty much for any depth position, is if you get an injury to a starter and you can go trade an all-pro like Marvin Mims, special teams guy, to get somebody that can help you to keep you plugging along or something like that. But other than that, I'm not just trading them just to trade them. You may not sign him next year, and people are going to say, well, you're going to lose out. You're still going to get a comp pick, And if this turns into a ring, then it's probably all for it. Then that's all worth it. So,
Patrick, your thoughts? Do you think that Marvin Mims or Troy Franklin could be on the trade block? I know we've talked about it multiple times this offseason on DBR, and it's just kind of been something spiraling around, and swirling around. But do you think the Broncos, any point in time, not even just right now, trade deadline comes around, do you think that they might maybe they move off of one of these guys, Troy Franklin or Marvin Mims?
I really don't think you'd have a reason to. I mean, they're like Jody was saying. I mean, I think that just plants an idea in their heads, and you don't need them with that thought. You need them out playing every possible percentage they can. That they can run, they can go. No, I honestly don't think so. I mean, the only time would be if, against all hope, Denver's completely out of it, towards the trade deadline, and trying to get something back for some other things. That's the only time I would even remotely think they'd consider it.
Yeah, I mean, you got Troy Franklin on that rookie contract still. I don't think that they would move him at all unless he showed regression at a fast pace. Other than that, I don't see why you move off of a guy that clearly has a real connection with Bo Nix, obviously playing at Oregon, transferred to the NFL. Kenny says it's 10 on a good day, 12 on a bad day. Top two guys are good as anyone. Behind that, not going to sugarcoat it. Question marks. I agree. Other than Troy Franklin, I think Troy Franklin's massive leap in year 2 is really he has not got enough credit for that, in my opinion. And so I would say of the top 3 guys, there are question marks for sure, but still a lot of depth in the wide receiver room. Glenn says no trades in the wide receiver room at all. No injury or scenario requires this. Says case in this point is the disaster we had in the playoffs with players hurt. Our depth makes us more dangerous. Absolutely. All right.
And I'll throw out Pat Bryant as well. Look what he was doing down the stretch till the 2 concussions. I mean, he was getting balls the first drive of the Buffalo game. They like what they have in Pat Bryant. So that's why I keep saying he's the guy I think that they would like to see take that Troy Franklin type leap from year 1 to year 2, because you can move off of Sutton. And I only say that because of the money. You don't want to be in a Cincinnati position paying 2 wide receivers humongous amounts of money.
Yeah.
When you're about to pay Bo a lot of money.
And that Waddle deal now puts into perspective of, hey, what's Cortland Sutton's future look like in Denver long term?
And it kicks in next year. That's when he gets paid big.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. All right, boys, let's move on to this tight end room. Patrick, I'll let you go first here with this. Where do you have the Broncos tight end room ranked? Maybe for some Broncos fans out there, this might be where you're like, oh, I need to go to that coffee break because this rankings might be a little tough. But Patrick, nevertheless, where do you have this Broncos tight end room currently ranked?
I honestly I would unfortunately have to say this is the only category that I would say outside top 22. I was happy and excited when they got Ingram, and I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know who's, the fault of whomever's calling play. I'm not the one to assign any blame, but just the production hasn't been there. Other than a game or two, there's been, a couple of instances, flashes, but nothing. And everybody's known for blocking, and not even exceptional blocking, just blocking. So I'm excited to see some of these younger guys come in and see if they can shake it up, stir it up, and hopefully make me look like an idiot for saying, outside top 22.
I will say, Patrick, I think the Broncos tight end room has been pretty poor for a long time, and rightfully so. I think that we got to really criticize the Broncos front office. One thing where, they've addressed wide receiver and they've tried to address running back, but tight end, it seems like it's one of these front office's downfalls. Like, hey, they've not been able to address this position. Every front office around the NFL, they have their downfalls. We'll see what this tight end room looks like this year, of course. But, I think a lot of Broncos country might be on board with you with this one. Jody, your thoughts on this Broncos tight end room, though, and where do you have them ranked?
I have them 11 to 16, and I just have them just outside. They're probably right in the middle right now. But I think one guy can really change that, and that's Evan Ingram. Two things for me. I don't think that he was used right last year, and he still had 50 catches for almost 500 yards. If you get that from your starting tight end, you probably will take that every year. I mean, the touchdowns were down only one. I'd like to see about 5 or 6 more from him. He's the one guy I think that's going to take a massive leap this year, and I've said he has somewhere in like 65 to like 65 catches in the 700-yard range, 6 to 8 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a big year. And you could see it. There were games. I mean, the Houston game is one that comes to mind. I mean, Bo just missed a wide open Ingram, and then the same route the next play they threw to Sutton for a touchdown. So there just wasn't a connection there. I think that will come back. And then Jolie, I think, is the next guy for me. I mean, he's a converted wide receiver, big. He's got great hands. I think he's gonna surprise a lot. And then after that, it's a crapshoot who you're keeping. I would say Troutman's on this roster just because you just signed him to three-year deal. After that, Nate Atkins, Kroll, Dallin Bentley, the guy from Utah last year. I'm drawing a blank.
Caleb Lohner.
Yeah,
that's why.
That is. But he's a perfect example of why I don't know that stuff was used right last year. You're telling me that you couldn't come up with plays to throw him 50-50 balls when you were down in the red zone for that? I mean, you couldn't get him on the field for at least that. So I don't know that they really were trying to use him, and I think Davis Webb is going to make that a focal point this year, as we're going to get the tight ends involved. And I think they're going to surprise. I mean, look at Bo's rookie year. I mean, for as much as we bagged Troutman and Nate Atkins and different things, I mean, they made plays Bo's rookie year. I was at the game tight end day when Troutman had that one-handed catch in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. Atkins had multiple touchdowns. So if they're used right, I think they've got guys here. But Ingram, I think, and I've said it for a while, I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. So,
yeah, I mean,
I hope I'm wrong. I wasn't trying to cut in on anybody. I just, I hope I'm wrong. It's just, I mean, historically we've been spoiled. Shannon Sharp, and Manning's there. He's any tight end they threw in seemed to be able to catch and go. So I mean, I'm just spoiled.
I don't think we've been spoiled on Broncos country for a long time since Julius Thomas, I would say. It's been a little rough when it comes to finding a tight end, but I'm going to say it's outside the top 10, outside the top 22 right now, I should say. I got to see it. I'm a big believer. Like, you got to show me. And this tight end room, I think you can say, oh, well, Evan Ingram didn't get the ball enough. I 100% understand that, but I don't think Evan Ingram's the player that he used to be either. And I think there's pressure on him to make this 53-man roster. I think don't be surprised if Justin Jolie or some of these other guys step up, Dallin Bentley possibly enough. Maybe they move off of Evan Ingram. I think it's doubtful right now with Davis Webb being the play caller, because Webb and Ingram played together, and so you have that connection. But if Evan Ingram don't show out, would it be surprising if he's not on this roster? Who knows? But I think there's added pressure for Evan Ingram this year to really step into his role and be better from a production standpoint. Dropped a lot of footballs last year as well. And I don't think that he's the same Evan Ingram that he once was when he was in Jacksonville. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see going forward. Again, I'm not a big Adam Troutman guy either. Troutman, good blocker, solid blocker, but it's like, what else? I mean, I just feel like they could have done more. Justin Jolie, drafting him in the 5th round. Okay, Dallin Bentley, 7th round pick. Caleb Lohner, 7th round pick. It's like, at some point in time, are you going to invest in like a top 100 pick in a tight end at some point in time? That's my biggest, like, what the heck's going on? Where's the plan? And they missed out on last year's draft. It feels like they kind of missed out on this year's draft. Need to see how Justin Jolie and Dallin Bentley do in this year's draft, or this year, I should say, in general. But kind of seemed like the Broncos have missed out on tight end the last couple drafts, and I just feel like, hey, you can get that tight end in the room, draft and develop him, and see what you can do, all the better. But we'll see where the Broncos tight end room ends up. Let me get to a couple comments here, and we'll continue to move on with the show.
While you're digging that up, another thing I think is going to be interesting is how many they keep, and how I think they're going to have to decide. Some of this is going to come down to what guys can you release and think you can get on the practice squad.
Oh yeah,
because Loner was easy. You think you could release him last year and get him on the practice squad, and you did. You're probably not going to be able to, if Jolie is not ready, release him and think you're going to get him back on the practice squad. So some of this decision is going to be, what guys can I release and get back on the practice squad?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can play the move up and down game for a while till they run out of that. You can play that game for a while. I think that's what you're going to see here for a while, because if Jolie or Bentley are not ready, you may not have a choice but to keep him on the 53, because you'll never get him back if you release him. So,
yeah. Glenn comes in here, says Troutman will work with Jolie and Bentley on their blocking, which is very useful. I will say Dallin Bentley's a pretty sound blocker coming out of the draft. I don't think he's going to need too much refinement when it comes to being a blocking tight end. He just is not as athletic as Justin Jolie. Jolie's the more athletic tight end, I would say. Bentley's he's athletic, but I would just say Jolie's probably more converted wide receiver, like Jody said. He's got a little bit more separating skills from a speed standpoint. But Dallin Bentley is a guy for me to watch. I think that he's a more sound tight end than some give him credit for.
He may be the most complete tight end in this room, blocking and receiving.
That's why it's like, Adam Troutman, why do you got to pay him that money? I mean, I know it's like you didn't know you're going to get Dallin Bentley this late in the draft. I think was the steal, but still, like maybe they regret paying Adam Troutman, when you got Dallin Bentley on a rookie contract. Kenny says one piece of furniture doesn't make a room, Jody. Yeah, I mean,
does when you have an 85-inch TV, Evan Ingram or something.
Jody's got his orange glasses on tonight.
I mean, I don't really care. I mean, let's be honest. What was the Saints tight end room behind Jimmy Graham for all them years? I mean, you can say Taysom Hill for a while, but can we really name who was behind Jimmy Graham for all them years? Who was behind Shannon Sharp?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Evan Ingram is Shannon Sharp, but I use that as an example of that piece of furniture made the whole room. So,
yeah. I will say the game has kind of changed a little bit as well. I do think the more depth, the better. But the problem is you need one piece of furniture. The Broncos have no furniture right now, so you got to have the furniture to be able to make that room. But moving on, yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to running backs, guys. Running backs, of course, top 10, 11, 16, 7, 22 outside of the top 22. Patrick, where do you have this Broncos current running back room placed here right now?
Healthy, top 10. Not healthy, Dobbins missed time. Yeah, I honestly, but I am excited, Jody. I didn't get to see any of the Coleman stuff. So, I mean, if he's – I want him to be a bowling ball. I think we've missed something like that for quite some time too. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, top 10, I would say if he can come in and be a bowling ball.
If you look at Coleman, and some of this might be just to do it to make him look bigger, but some of these guys are in baggy clothes and stuff. Coleman, I mean – the clothes fit him tight and he looked big. And he filled his uniform out the right way, in my opinion. And in just some of the drills that he did, just the way it's not the quickest, but you can tell it's like, I'm not scared of contact and I'm going to run you over. I'm going to run into you and that type of thing. So that's why I think sooner rather than later, he's going to be your RB2.
Where do you have this running back room ranked, Jody? I'm going to say you probably have it pretty high, talking about Jonah Coleman and some of these other guys. And Jake, I know you're a big J.K. Dobbins guy, too.
I'm kind of the same with Glenn. It's top 10, and it's top 10 only for one guy, J.K. Dobbins, if he's healthy. I mean, he was probably a top 3 running back till he got hurt last year. And I have said for a while, I think he plays 15 or more games this year. So, but if he's not healthy and you're with Coleman and Harvey, I need to see it from Harvey before I mean, I liked him in the passing game and some of the things, but he's got to take that next leap of being a more patient runner, running inside, not trying to bounce it all the time, that type of thing. And the pass protecting, where I think Coleman is light years ahead of him already. If Dobbins goes down early and you're with Harvey and Coleman and Bidet or McLaughlin, whatever, you're probably in that 17 to 22 range. So it really hinges on one guy. It's J.K. Dobbins and what he was able to do last year before he got hurt.
Let me get to a couple comments and then I'll get mine. Kenny says on how tight end situation, Evan Ingram is the old 82-inch screen that you need more than one person to carry. LOL. Glenn says Evan Ingram is a 1998 flat screen. He just doesn't make it out of the garage. Jody, that's what Glenn says. I like the back and forth on Evan Ingram, though. It's a mix for a great topic for sure. Phil says running backs top 10. Michael says RB's number 17 through 22 from Mr. Michael Ronquillo. Kenny says RB room for me is around 13 to 15. Glenn says RB room 11 until Coleman plays. Week 4 we will be top 10. Biggie says that 20 looks good on him. He's talking about Jonah Coleman. Yeah, I mean, for me, my thoughts. I got to believe it, or I got to see it to believe it, I should say. So for me, I'm probably 17, 22 right now, probably around 17, 18 right now, I will say. Like, I need to see what Jonah Coleman looks like in the NFL. I like from what he did at college. But again, I was more of an Emmett Johnson guy, I will say. And so, like, need to see. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, when he's on the field, he's a hell of a running back. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, again, the issue, staying on the field. You already have to plan for this guy to miss games going forward in the next season. You're hoping that he plays all year or close to all season, but you've had to add this extra running back depth with Jonah Coleman. You have R.J. Harvey, R.J. Harvey was fine last year, but it's a big year. It's a make it or break it kind of season for R.J. Harvey. I'm sorry, it's what it is. And so I'm probably right around that 17, 18 range right now. I need to see this Broncos running back room really take a step in the right direction. And they need to this year with Bo Nix dealing with that ankle injury. And we don't know where Bo Nix's mobility will be. I think it'll be close back to where it was, but we don't know. There's no guarantee there. You need a running back room, and you need a running back room that's going to be able to be efficient week in and week out. I will say this. I've been hard on Jarrett Stidham. Don't get me wrong. I have been. The AFC Championship game, it is absolutely ridiculous that you were not able to run the dang football without your starting quarterback on the field. You need to be able to, as an offense, be able to win games in multiple ways. It can't just be on Bo all the time. I'm sorry, Sean Payton. This is where I'm hard on Sean Payton. No, not even once since he's been in Denver have the Broncos had a 1,000-yard rusher. That is absolutely ridiculous to me. The running game has been an issue. It will continue to be an issue until this season. Hopefully, this team can turn it around. But for me, it's 17, 18 range right now because I need to see it. Hopefully, Davis Webb, being the play caller, will turn things around from this running back room's perspective. You've got to be able to run the football and win offensively in multiple ways, not just the passing game.
Now, I will say he easily would have had that last year if it wasn't for the Dobbins injury. He would have had a 1,000-yard rusher here. So, I mean, whatever. I mean, that was it was an illegal tackle, whatever. But still, I mean, it falls in line with him being hurt. Now, I will say what Jonah Coleman does this year is he, I think, takes away some of the Bo Nix being your leading rusher and design Bo Nix runs and stuff like that. Just like when he broke the ankle, if you would have had a competent running back there that you trust, you're handing the ball off and Bo's not even running. He's doing handoffs and that's it. He's not running the football there and that type of thing. So I think that's another guy there. He just, for whatever reason, didn't. I mean, McLaughlin fumbled early in that Buffalo game, and he was toast. And he doesn't trust. I mean, what they have, like 12 rushes the whole game? Bo had more than that. I think Coleman, if Dobbins is healthy, that doesn't happen, but Coleman also is an insurance piece. So, I don't think that you're going to see all the design Bo runs this year.
I don't think so either. And I will say, if the Broncos are, if they're able to reel in Travis Etienne Jr., I think I would have this running back room a little bit higher. But you're drafting rookies, and you're relying upon a guy that has not played a full season in his career ever. You knew that when you signed him. He's great when he's on the field. Other than that, it's like,
if I told you Dobbins was going to be healthy all season, where do you rank this room?
Probably 11-16. I don't think there'll be a top 10 unit this year. I don't. But I think you can, even if you're 11-16, that's a major improvement where you've been the last couple of years. And I will take that. I think you have a top 10 offense if this running back room is 11-16 range from a ranking standpoint.
They may not have a top 10 rusher just because I think Denver's going to air the ball out a lot this year. I mean, they led the NFL in passes last year, and you just got another weapon for Bo. So I think Bo's going to throw it all over the yard this year.
I will say, with Davis Webb taking over play calling, it'll be interesting to see if that changes a little bit more. I mean, so I can go on and on about Sean Payton and not sticking to the run game and running, riding into the back of his play call sheet and not sticking to it. But
I just think you're going to see second half of Bo's rookie season, the way he was throwing the ball deep, and I just think that's what you're going to see all year. That's just a gut feeling I have.
I want to continue on with this conversation. It's a great conversation, by the way. I love getting a little bit of fired up on a Saturday night. Martin says the odds are JK will get hurt and RJ is where he was last year, so this running game hinges on Coleman, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to need a little bit of everybody. I don't think it can just be on one guy. I think it's going to be more of a running back committee. Sean Payton likes to use multiple backs, but you really got to have that lead back that you can trust. And after Dobbins went down last year, you didn't have that guy. Kenny Kirkpatrick comes in and says Broncos running back room is that pool table that Peyton says to the kids, don't touch. Hope Sean Payton's not watching this podcast because he may not like us.
Do you guys think RJ Harvey takes that leap this year? Or do you think what we've seen of RJ Harvey, the best RJ Harvey is get him out in the passing game?
Patrick,
I think passing.
Yeah.
I think passing, definitely the passing, that short, almost nowhere else to go. They're not looking for it, boom, hit him. Maybe use him that way instead of all those darn screens. I think.
How many times he would catch little 10-yarders on the sideline and he could juke 2 or 3 guys and he was down the sidelines, or like that touchdown he had against the Texans. I wonder if that's what he is, or does Sean Payton really envision him where he could be a 3-down running back at some point?
I think he's better than that. I think he would fill that role better than to be the lead horse, whatever, the strap it on your back and go.
Yeah. I mean, I will say investing a second-round pick in RJ Harvey, you better get something out of him. That's why I will say you can't invest in second-round pick in him and he be what he was last year. He's got to come back a better back. I think if any running back has pressure on them this year, it's RJ Harvey. And I know he's under contract, contractual control long-term with his rookie contract, but I mean, teams can move off of running backs pretty easy. And usually running backs in the NFL, you kind of get a taste of what you have by year 2, I would say, or at least say at the end of year 2, you have a pretty good idea what you have at running back. So I think RJ Harvey, it's going to be Dobbins and Harvey, I think, right off the bat. You're hoping, I think if Bronco fans, if this running game can get back on track, I think you're hoping you're not seeing Jonah Coleman this year, because that means J.K. Dobbins has stayed healthy for most of the season, and it means R.J. Harvey has also been an improved pass blocker, and he's getting used in multiple ways this year. So the hope is Jonah Coleman not to play as much this year. If Jonah Coleman's playing a lot of football for the Denver Broncos, offense, I think there might be some concern there. But moving forward, boys, we got the linebacker room going forward that we got to get to tonight before we end the show. Jody, I'll go to you here. Linebacker room, please be nice. Don't get too hectic with this ranking, because I'm sure I have a good feeling of where you're going to rank this Broncos linebacker room. But your thoughts on this Broncos linebacker room, my friend?
I think I'll probably put him in the 11 to 16 range, and it's really hinges on one guy. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it was a stupid to re-sign him and whatever," but I think Alex Singleton is a top of the half starting middle linebacker. Is he the best in coverage? No, he's not, and we can all agree on that. But everything else that he does for this team is, from the way he came back from the cancer, he wears the green dot. He makes big plays. He makes big hits. He doesn't make that tackle or that hit on the Buffalo running back,
James Cook.
You may be down 17-3 and in for a rout. He's a leader on this team. So I'll take – he's not the greatest in coverage. That's fine. Denver can – they masked it last year. Top 1-2 defense. Them and Houston were basically tied. You've got a Swift Army knife back there as well in Jody Barron. What's he going to do? Is he going to play safety? Where does he line up when you're in nickel and dime? That type of thing. Of all the other guys that everyone was saying, oh, you should have signed Anzalone and all these other people, I didn't like that. I was all on board with Singleton coming back. And then Stranad, the leap that he took from 2 years ago to last year, I thought was impressive. He filled in very well when Greenlaw was out. He didn't play as much when Greenlaw came back, but he made plays. He's a wild card for me because I need to see what he can do being penciled in as a full-time starter this year. If he can take that leap, then I think you've hit a home run because you're not paying him. You're not paying either of these guys big-time money. But after that, then it gets really scarce. You've got Mr. Irrelevant and Red Murdoch as your number 3 probably penciled in right now. Maybe Jonah Ellis. All reports are is it sounds like he's going to stay outside, but then you hear other people say he's going to get plays inside. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. I would think at some point they're going to have to. And I didn't even mention Drew Sanders. Till I see what he can do, whether he plays inside, outside, you can't count on a guy that hasn't played football in almost 3 years. So, but I think at some point, whether it's now or at 53 cut, they're going to pick up another guy. He may not start on the 53, but you put him on the practice squad, and he's going to be elevated game day. You've got to get some depth there, especially if Jonah Ellis doesn't pan out like you want. So I think you have one top-tier starter. You've got a guy with a lot of upside, and then after that, you got a lot of question marks. But that one guy he's an alpha on this team. He's a leader, and he earned 100% of the respect of this locker room after the cancer thing and coming back that quick and all of that. So him alone, in my opinion, puts them fringe top 10, but they're not there yet.
Yeah. Patrick, your thoughts on this Broncos linebacker room?
Yeah, I definitely say pretty close to Jody there, 11 to 16. Singleton to me is worth in a lot of other categories far more than his coverage ability. Like he just said, his locker room presence, the leadership role, just showing the toughness, the willingness to come back to the team, that's what he loves. That's what he wants to do. I just, I honestly, I'm very happy he's still there. I was really going to be sad, I think, in my own estimation, if he wasn't. But yeah, if Murdoch's getting a lot of playing time, how many bad calls were made on players, that made. So yeah, I'd have to say 11 to 16, honestly. But they could be a lot of steps up. If maybe Murdoch's getting the time because he's kicking everybody's can all over the place. Who knows? But
yeah, I think for me, I'm not making a lot of fans tonight, am I? At least from Broncos country standpoint. I will probably say I'm right there at 17 to 22 range, probably closer to 22 in my opinion. Alex Singleton, he's not a coverage guy, of course, and he racks up a lot in tackles. He also misses a lot of tackles. And I understand the leadership standpoint. I think that's special with Alex Singleton. Also, a big reason why Alex Singleton's in Denver because Vance Joseph loves him. 100% understand that. But it's just, and again, I love Justin Strnad. I think bringing back Justin Strnad was a huge step in the right direction for Denver. But I just, other than that, it's just like it's a lot of nothing right now. I will say a name that has not got mentioned enough is Torian York, the undrafted inside linebacker from Texas A&M. Watch him, keep an eye out on him. He might be a guy that either makes the practice squad and you can end up elevating him throughout the season, or maybe he makes the 53-man roster. But that's a guy that I thought could have easily gotten drafted probably 6th round. The Broncos end up getting as an undrafted free agent. So it's a name to keep an eye on. I also wouldn't be surprised if this Broncos front office doesn't add another veteran in this linebacker room because they've not been, afraid to do it in the past. Zach Cunningham was one of those guys they had it a couple years ago in this inside linebacker room. So you don't have a ton of depth right now, and that's truth be told. So for me, this is any point in time from a defensive perspective, from a positional ranking standpoint, this is probably one of the lower ranked, if not the lowest ranked positional group on this Broncos defense right now. It's a little scarce with his injuries and what you have behind these guys. Because again, like Jody said, Drew Sanders, you can't trust that he's even going to make the 53-man roster. He might not even be in Denver by the time final roster cuts end up coming along. So, and he might have been cut last year, honestly, if he doesn't go down with that injury. But we'll see. I do expect them to still add to this linebacker room, or at least hopefully somebody steps up, like a Torian York or somebody that may be kind of waiting in the wings and nobody's talking about. I do want to get to a couple comments. Kenny says I can't respectfully rank them that high with question marks with like Ellis and Sanders. Michael says outside of the top 22. Michael's a little bit more harsher on this linebacker room than I am. I will say, Michael, I'm right there with you, probably close to that 22 rank. Glenn says our linebacker room is 17-22, 2-22 until we sign someone that can cover tackling wise in the box. We are top 10. Get me an effing coverage guy to help. Paul says 11-16. Kenny says you get banned tonight on the show. Possibly Kenny, depending on what you're saying. Biggie says try Johnathan Cooper. Don't get you another running back and start John Ellis on the outside. Johnathan Cooper's probably going to stay at edge. I will say that. I don't think he's moving anywhere else. But, guys, final thoughts as we wrap up here in our inside linebacker room. You guys got anything else to add or any of the rankings that we've done tonight?
I'm pretty good.
I have one other question just as we're on this topic. Are you guys surprised the way the Dre Greenlaw signing last year really kind of turned into a massive failure? Really, I mean, yeah, he was injured and we knew that coming in, but the way everyone said he was an alpha and all this type of stuff, and the way he complained about the way Sean Payton ran camp, and it was so hard compared to Kyle Shanahan, and learning this defense was like learning Spanish. I didn't expect that from that. I didn't expect that at all. I don't know, especially when he came over with somebody that he played with in San Francisco and Hufanga, and that they couldn't get on Hufanga couldn't even get him on the same page as to this is where you want to be long term. Where did it go south so fast?
I honestly think it's everybody has, when you're in high school, you're in school, you had your favorite teachers, that they presented whatever the way that just resonated with you. And I just think any of the info and the way they wanted him to play just didn't, the way Sean or whoever portrayed it to him just didn't make him feel, I don't know, maybe they needed to baby him. I don't know what but for whatever reason, I think it was all Greenlaw. Because
you think he was ever 100% healthy?
In my head, no. He didn't look like it. Even when he had the couple of good games and the big hits, it looked like that was like almost like he phoned it in for a play or two after that. Just like like it took it out of him. At least watching, what I could see from, all the way out here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, only on TV. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me, it's obviously wasn't a fit in the locker room with Greenlaw. I just don't think with how Kyle Shanahan does things and Sean Payton does things, it's a little bit different. I will say that. I don't think Greenlaw was ever 100% healthy, though. I will agree there. I just think, but it's a little concerning for me that he wasn't able to pick up VJ's defense enough. It certainly sounded like he was very frustrated with that. So that was a little bit of a surprise and not something that if I'm a 49er, personnel that I'm overly, excited to hear about because you should be able to pick up on the defense and not come out publicly and say, oh, well, it's just too tough for me to pick up on. And so as an inside linebacker, I mean, it's your job to be able to kind of study that stuff and really hone in on that, especially with big expectations. I mean, you signing in Denver last offseason, you knew you're going to have a big role within this defense and kind of seemed like he was unprepared to take on that role. And so I was a little concerned, I think, for that. And so it just didn't, unfortunately, didn't end up working out for the Broncos. And it's one of those signings where, hey, some of those signings don't always pan out and some of those acquisitions don't always pan out. You're just hoping that you have more acquisitions that pan out than not. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Denver's going to be able to bounce back and have a solid season from the linebacker room, though. We're about ready to wrap up the show. Let me get to a couple more comments, and I have one more question from our other horseman and our other juicer host on the Juice Football Talk Show as well, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick. Paul says inside linebacker weak spot on D. Biggie says I was supposed to say trade Johnathan Cooper. Biggie, I just don't think unfortunately it's going to happen. I don't think you're going to get a ton back from him right now, and I don't see them doing that. Right now, Paul Shatter comes in here says Greenlaw should probably learns on the job type of thing. Versus watching the sideline, we play Greenlaw 49ers this year. And we got one more rapid fire question from Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, and then I want to get your guys' final thoughts. Kenny says rank the coaching staff rapid fire. Patrick, I'll go with you first on this one. Kenny says I'll say top 5, but Patrick, rank the Broncos coaching staff rapid fire for our amazing host. Kenny Kirkpatrick.
I'd say top 10. I'd say top 10, but towards the bottom end of the 10, just because of some of the things that, you're famous for bringing up, the no running room, no running back room, the no tight end calls, I guess, or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I'd say top 10.
Jody?
I'll go just outside the top 10 till I see what Davis Webb can do. I mean, the other two are pretty easy for me. I think Sean Payton is going to slide right into the CEO type role. I mean, he changes culture, and we've already seen him do that. And getting play calling off of his plate, I think, is just going to make him better there. And then VJ, I mean, he may be the best defensive coordinator in football. So yeah, when you have those two guys along with what everyone said, an up-and-comer like Davis Webb, if that pans out, then easily top 5. But until I see that, probably 6 to 10 range.
Yeah, I would say top 10, but I would say closer to that 10 range like Patrick is. That's saying, and I think VJ for me has a lot to do with that. What he's been able to do with his defense is just remarkable. And I'm surprised he hasn't got a head coaching job yet. And if this defense ends up having another top 5 unit again this year, he'll be right up there again. With getting other jobs around the league. But VJ does it a lot for me. I mean, this defense has helped out, Sean Payton in this offense so much more than what I think he gets credit for. The best, one of the, helps out quarterbacks, the support system that helps out a quarterback is having a really good defense. If you don't believe me, go ask Joe Burrow in Cincinnati how that turns out.
Can I throw a rapid fire off of this? Everyone keeps saying Davis Webb is in line. Say Denver wins the Super Bowl, Sean Payton might ride off into the sunset. Mm-hmm. Do you think say they win a Super Bowl this year, and now you got 2 offensive coordinators that are looking at head coaching jobs? Where are you turning? Are you turning to Davis Webb, or are you turning to round 2 of Vance Joseph?
No Joseph.
I think that's everyone keeps saying Davis Webb. I want to throw in Vance Joseph might be thinking the same thing in his mind. I'm the guy waiting in the wings. I don't know. I think would be wild if that's what it came down to.
he has started to change my mind on him, Vance Joseph himself with what he's done with the defense. But I just you see those guys that just head coaching just is not the spot for them. I can't even remember his name now. We had him for like a year, and then he went back to. Didn't he go back to Detroit before Vance Joseph?
Johnny Morton, but he's back in Denver again.
Right. Yeah. Well, I meant defensive guy.
Vic Fangio.
Yeah, Fangio.
Oh.
I mean, Fangio, one of the best defensive guys, brains ever, I think. But I just don't think head coaching was where he needed to show that.
The only thing I will say on Vance is the raw deal he got was Elway kind of handpicked his quarterback and didn't let him do some of what he wanted to do. Where if he was given some autonomy to do what he wanted, it may be different.
Yeah, I would lean probably more Davis Webb, but again, you could go either way because this is the new regime, like Jody said, with John Elway and VJ's first time as head coach. I'm sorry, there's no head coach probably going to succeed. I get people say, well, Broncos should have hired Kyle Shanahan. Do you think Kyle Shanahan's going to succeed under what was a disaster with John Elway in that front office towards the end of the Elway era as GM? Probably not. I don't think we would have been talking about Kyle Shanahan as one of the better head football coaches in the game. So it was really difficult for VJ to succeed.
Especially as a first-time head coach. I mean, Sean Payton had done it, and he had turned it around in New Orleans when they were horrible and off of Hurricane Katrina and all that. He'd been there, done this.
True.
Yeah. Rapid fire question from Phil. Great show tonight, guys. Thank you, Phil, very much for the stars and for your participation in tonight's show. Really appreciate you, Phil, as always. He said, based on our rankings of these positions, where are you ranking this team's offense as a whole? Patrick, will go to you first. Where are you ranking this offense as a whole?
I'd say top 10.
Okay.
I really would, just because and potential. That's my, yeah.
Jody?
I'll probably say the same, and it's really I need to see what Davis Webb does, but I think Davis Webb is going to blow it up this year. I think he's going to be the missing piece. So, and if that happens, easily top 5.
For me, I'll probably say top 10. I would say 10. But again, if you can get a running game, I think will make the biggest difference this year. It's all about that running game, being able to take that pressure off Bo Nix. Obviously, you've shown what you're able to do from a passing game perspective. Add Jalen Waddle to that. That is only going to raise this team's ceiling from an offensive standpoint in the passing game. But you've got to be able to have a running game and be able to win games offensively in multiple ways and not just one way of football. So it'll be interesting to see. I say top 10 unit, but more that top 10 or that 10 range, I would say. Michael says top 10 as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get our final thoughts in here. Jody, I'm going to go to you. Final thoughts tonight, my friend, and thank you very much for a great, great show. But I want to get your final thoughts before we get out of here tonight.
Just excited football's back. Ready to see Bo throw in a couple weeks. Put this to bed put this ankle distraction to bed because I think it's just drummed up by the media. So I'm excited for that. We're 100 days away from football, which I'm excited for. And go watch anyone that looking for something to do, go watch Patrick Mahomes at training camp. He's still limping around pretty good, and he may be ready week 1, but in my opinion, there's no way come week 1 he's a solid 100%. And I think the NFL did them a massive disservice. They are forcing him now to play week 1. So that's good for Denver.
Absolutely. Patrick, your final thoughts, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight on my first episode with you on DBR. Great to have you and looking forward to more shows with you. But your final thoughts, my friend, tonight.
Thanks for joining us. Here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for letting me jump in with you guys. I know I never really got to talk much outside of, commenting and whatnot, so it's kind of nice. But no, honestly, I'm a lot with Jody. I think they did a huge I like to see Mahomes not do well. I mean, it's Kansas City, so but I don't want to see him get hurt. I just don't want to see him do well. So
yeah. But
I mean that's pretty much about it. I am excited that things are getting stirred up, things are going. Hopefully getting here. I definitely with you guys get to hear a lot more not insider things, but just, better thoughts, different things. I mean, all the way out here in Hawaii, there's not a lot of people that are on the Broncos. So you don't get to hear a lot of, it's everybody just spouting whatever's said in the media. So it's kind of nice to have this as a way to fulfill my Bronco mind.
Absolutely. 100%. My final thoughts. And again, I really want to appreciate everybody for joining our show tonight. The comments, you guys have been blowing it up. It's been amazing. I've seen the viewership on screen right now. It's amazing. We're in double digits all night. Thank you for everybody for joining us. I know we got off to a little bit later start. Just know it's the off season, so we're picking things back up again. But make sure to join us Tuesday, the Juice Football Talk Show, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. A little bit of a time change going on a little bit later, but again, make sure you continue to join that. I will say as well, some orders of business to get out of the way. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels out there as well. We really appreciate everybody out there who loves to talk football, all football. I mean, we're not just covering Bronco football, but we're covering all 32 teams, college football as well. We got some fantasy football shows in the waiting in the wings as well. So really, a ton of shows coming up for everybody. So just make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing for much more from us. Because we got a lot of big things coming here at the RMSN moving forward. I want to end on this. Really the host of this show, DBR, Mr. Keith Brugman, who unfortunately lost his father-in-law this morning, I should say, to cancer. So please, throw your prayers out there to Keith Brugman. Thoughts and prayers with Keith Brugman tonight and his family. Keith, just know, brother, we love you. And I know everybody in the chat will say that as well. We love you. We appreciate you, and can't wait to have you back on the show. But our thoughts and prayers are with you, brother, tonight, and look forward to seeing you again. But please, if you're out there, throw a prayer out there for Keith and his family tonight. And because again, he can, any point in time we can do anything for you, Keith, and please let us know. And I know our amazing fans will do the same. But for all of us as well,
I will throw out one other thing. They're in a massive move from Montana to Arizona, so he's going to be kind of hit or miss for the next little while. So if you don't see him, that's what it is. That's a heck of a move across country like that. So good luck with that, and good luck to new beginnings.
Absolutely, new beginnings, and again, we're continue to work with us out there because we're going to bring you shows all throughout the offseason. OTAs, training camps coming up, a lot of exciting things coming up. So whether Keith is with you, we'll be with you along the ride. But wanted to shout out Keith and his family tonight, and please continue to pray for them going forward. But for me, your host, Trevor Salzman, Mr. Patrick Wiltsie, Jody Moncrief, this is the Denver Bronco Roundup. We will see everybody Tuesday for the Juice Football Talk Show with me, myself, Glenn Ashley, and Kenny Kirkpatrick. But for me, Patrick and Jody, I want to say, everybody, thank you for joining the show tonight. And as always, go Broncos. We'll see everybody next time. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. We'll see everybody next time.